Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
It's a chilly start to the holiday week, but temperatures go climbing up the ladder. We'll show you how close we get to record warmth on Christmas Day coming up.
And we're covering a shooting investigation as a mother tells WRAL her 13-year-old daughter was shot and killed days before Christmas. But we know from investigators as they try to figure out what happened here.
And getting out of town, millions of people will be flying and driving this week for the holidays. What you need to know before taking off or hitting the road today. A lot of people traveling. It's a busy, busy week, couple days out from Christmas.
Yes.
We're ready. Thank you so much for joining us here on WRAL. I'm Michelle McConaughey in for Renee Chu.
And I'm Chris Lemminger. There are some things you probably need to be aware of before you head to the airport with the gifts, especially if you wrapped them already. Ali Calabar will dive into that. But we want to begin with your weather forecast with Chris Michaels because it's cold out there, Chris.
It is cold for now. Yeah, probably the coldest we're going to be all week. So we start out at the bottom here with Roanoke Rapids at 26. This morning, Southern Pines 28. Rocky Mountain, Wilson have dropped into the 20s as well. We're at freezing in Fayetteville. Raleigh's at 35. So count on similar temperatures up until about 7 or 8 a.m. today. By 9 a.m., temperatures rise a little bit. By 11 a.m., we're in the low 40s with afternoon highs making it to about 50 to 54 from north to south. So it's a fairly cool start to the week. Pretty slim rain chance for your Tuesday morning. And then beyond that, it is warm and dry as we get closer to Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Yeah, Christmas in the south, high temperatures in the upper 60s, although that's not exactly common either. We'll show you how close that comes to record warmth coming up in a few minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Chris. Goldsboro police are investigating after a mother says her teenage daughter was killed in a shooting. This happened yesterday at an apartment community off of Patetown Road. Investigators were at that scene for hours last night as they tried to figure out exactly what led up to this. A woman on scene told us that her 13-year-old daughter was killed. Whitney Toon says gun violence has been a persistent concern in the area and says this loss is devastating for her family and the community.
I'm heartbroken. My daughter's gone. Christmas is around the corner. She didn't deserve this. She's a little girl. She's not coming home. It doesn't matter where she live, where she be at. It shouldn't have happened. And there's other little kids out here that it's in danger as well with the violence.
Goldsboro police have not yet confirmed the victim's age or identity.
Well, we are entering one of the busiest travel times right now. More than 100 million Americans are expected to be driving or flying from now until the end of the year across the country. Let's bring in Ali Calabar. She's live at RDU this morning. Ali, airport management says there are some things people need to know before they try to make their flights this morning.
And what people need to know is that there's a lot of activity. We're seeing those TSA security lines. They are moving, flowing pretty quickly, but TSA says that it's going to be a busy next 10 days here at RDU. TSA says there's not one record-breaking travel day, but instead a nearly 2-week-long packed travel period. They are fully staffed and prepared, but those long wait times you'd most likely experience are because of travelers bringing prohibited items through security. And this time of year, those prohibited items could be wrapped gifts for your loved ones. TSA recommends not wrapping your gifts if you're bringing them through security, or just make sure that they are easy to search. And we spoke with some travelers who made sure their gifts made it to their loved ones on time, even though they're traveling.
I sent them ahead of me, most of them anyway. So, as a matter of fact, I don't think I have anything with me.
I got some barbecue right here in my backpack, so they can take it out. It's clear, container so they can inspect it.
Yep, he made sure he had that barbecue packed in a clear container, bringing North Carolina barbecue to Texas, actually. But TSA recommends that packing your gifts in a gift bag would also be helpful as well. You can find a full list of their prohibited items on TSA.gov. We'll be here throughout the morning, making sure you're updated. Reporting live at RDU, Ali Calabar, WRAL News.
And as you're headed to the airport, AAA recommends having your real ID on you. While you can still board a flight without one, you have to do extra screening beforehand. It was recently announced that TSA would begin charging people $45 to board a flight starting on February 1st. Until then, TSA may ask people without one to go through more screening and complete an identity verification process. Now, the good news is a TSA spokesperson says that most people are compliant.
We're seeing about 5% of the population coming through without either a state-issued real ID or an acceptable form of ID.
And Carter Langston says it is best to have compliant credentials to save you time and minimize travel headaches. Other forms of ID include a passport or a global entry card.
Well, the roads are going to be pretty busy over the next 2 weeks as well. Let's go ahead and give you a live look right now at I-87 at Lizard Lick Road. It's 6:04, and I'm seeing plenty of cars out there, but I suppose that we're probably going to see quite a bit more in the coming hours. Now, travel experts say the busiest time will be the weekend after Christmas. We're talking about 3.3 million North Carolinians expected to hit the roads between now and New Year's. Of those traveling, about 90% say they're going to be driving, and AAA says timing matters. Afternoons and early evenings are usually the worst, and mornings tend to be smoother.
Surprisingly, we didn't get into any traffic. Most of the roads was pretty smooth for us. Dealing with the time that we left, either really early in the morning or really late at night, so we can avoid that.
AAA also urges drivers to check tires and your batteries as well. Last holiday season, roadside assistance calls topped 860,000 nationwide. Now, gas prices this time of year are actually a bit less than it was last year. The nation's average has dipped below $3 a gallon. And we're going to look at right now the averages across our state. For example, in Raleigh, the average for a gallon of gas is $2.69. In Greensboro, it's $2.68. And in Asheville, it's $2.73.
And another reminder, there are more law enforcement officers out on the roads and highways right now. The holiday Booze It and Lose It campaign began last week. The annual campaign runs through January 4th, and more patrols will be on the roads to enforce impaired driving laws. And to help if you are traveling on the roads this holiday, the North Carolina Department of Transportation is pausing most of its major construction projects. The pause remains in effect through January 2nd.
Well, we are trying to learn new information this morning about a deadly crash in Johnston County. What you're seeing here is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker on US 70 near Princeton last night. Troopers say alcohol and speed were factors in this crash. One person was killed and someone was arrested at that scene. And we're working to learn more about the person who died as well as the suspect in that crash.
New this morning, court documents in Australia are giving us a clearer picture of the actions of the suspects in the deadly Bondi Beach terrorist attack. A father and son are accused of carrying out a mass shooting that killed 15 people at a Hanukkah event just over a week ago. New images shared in court documents shows the two holding rifles and moving in a way that suggests they were training. The documents also say the suspects threw unexploded bombs at the crowd before they started shooting. The father was shot and killed by police. The son faces dozens of charges from that attack. Officials say the two were inspired by the Islamic State.
We're keeping our eye out on breaking news out of Moscow this morning. We'll go ahead and give you a look at this video now after a car bomb killed a Russian general. So AP News reporting that a bomb was placed underneath this general's car and exploded. Investigators say Ukraine could be behind this attack, and if that is true, that would make the third killing of a senior military officer in a year.
Well, the family of a man who served the people of North Carolina for decades is now inviting those people to his funeral. Former NC Governor Jim Hunt passed away last week, and he'll be laid to rest this Friday. The service will be at 1 p.m. at First Presbyterian Church of Wilson. All are welcome to attend. And a book of condolence is available for the public to sign at the North Carolina State Capitol as well. Hunt played a critical role in expanding Research Triangle Park, and that includes securing major companies, including Biogen. His love for his alma mater also led to the creation of NC State's Centennial Campus.
Looking ahead, the Lumbee tribe will celebrate receiving full federal recognition next month. The recognition was part of a recent defense spending bill signed by President Donald Trump. It's a moment that has been decades in the making and now unlocks federal aid for health and education programs in and around Robeson County. Because of the holiday season, the celebration will take place in January. The tribe plans to share more details soon. Well, tonight's Powerball drawing will be the biggest one of the year. There was no jackpot winner on Saturday night, which means the prize grows to $1.6 billion. That is an upfront cash prize of more than $735 million. It is now the fourth largest jackpot of all time. You can watch the next drawing live right here on WRAL tonight, right before our 11 o'clock news. Good luck.
Money.
Yes, it is.
And the Carolina Panthers keep their playoff hopes alive with the win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home. It looks like Bryce Young threw 2 touchdowns and Latham Ransom intercepted Baker Mayfield with 42 seconds left. This allowed the Panthers to beat the Bucs 23-20 for the first place position in the NFC South. It was a huge win for Carolina, but Coach Dave Canales and Bryce Young know that the playoff push is not over yet.
Everything's right in front of us still, and to give ourselves a chance to continue to play meaningful football this time of year, they've earned that.
It feels great, and it'll feel great for the next 24 hours. After that, it's not going to matter. What is this, week 16, 17? That's not when the playoff starts. So there's still a lot more work to be done.
I don't even know what week it is. That's how focused that man is. A tough test for the Panthers this Sunday, though, as the team will take on the top team in the NFC South, the Seattle Seahawks, NFC, I should say. That game will be at 1 p.m. All right, your time is 6:10. Flu surge. Why health experts are concerned about a new strain this year as people gather for the holidays.
And policy change. How One Triangle Hospital restricting who can visit patients as respiratory illnesses spread.
And by now we've established that we're not seeing a white Christmas this year, but it is going to be well off toward the north and well out toward the west. We'll show you what's causing that and why this exact pattern is responsible for temperatures near 70 degrees this Christmas.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13 as we start you out with a festive look here in Rocky Mount, Durham, and outside our studio here on Western Boulevard. Rocky Mount's at 29. In Raleigh, it's about 35 degrees, and you have that variation from town to town in temperatures this morning. But smooth sailing for the morning commute, whether it's just going to the office or traveling out of town. We're in the 40s by midday and highs in the low 50s. Heading out of town tomorrow, going up I-95, New York and Philly with a little bit of a rain-snow mix. Higher snow accumulations will be up toward Maine. Meanwhile, you head to Florida. That's not at all concerned down there, obviously. Fort Lauderdale and Miami going to be in the upper 70s. Now, that same system gives us a few stray showers Tuesday morning, but there you see that quick hitting snow that heads into New England. I'll show you why that doesn't necessarily result in a cool down here at home for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Coming up.
Make a little trouble if you're traveling to Boston. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, starting today, WakeMed is limiting visitations because of a rise in some respiratory illnesses such as RSV and flu. Children under the age of 12 won't be allowed to visit patients in hospital nursing units, care areas, or waiting rooms. Hospital officials say this is the best way to help protect vulnerable patients and to slow the spread of illness. And a new severe flu variant is spreading across the country. It's what some doctors are calling a super flu. At least 1,900 people have died from flu this season, and 11 of those deaths happened right here in North Carolina, including a child. As millions of people prepare to travel and gather for the holidays this week, there's a growing concern. Health experts worry that while the vaccine offers the best protection, it may not be enough from this year's new strain.
We think that this clade K virus is evading population immunity, meaning more people are susceptible to infection. It has mutations that may allow it to evade some, but not all of the influenza vaccine-induced protection.
Cases climb. Children, adults age 65 and up, and people with underlying health conditions are among the most vulnerable to get the flu. Medical experts are recommending people 6 months or older to get a flu shot this year.
Actor James Ranson has died in an apparent suicide in California. The LA County Medical Examiner confirmed that he died on Friday. The 46-year-old was best known for his roles in the hit HBO series The Wire, the movie It Chapter 2 as well. And he has appeared in a number of TV shows and movies over his 20-plus year career. On social media, HBO paid tribute to the actor following the news of his death.
The U.S. military says it is in active pursuit of a third sanctioned vessel off the coast of Venezuela. 2 U.S. officials confirmed that operation. What you're seeing here is video of 2 recent tanker seizures, one of which happened over the weekend. In an operation yesterday, officials say the vessel was flying a false flag and under a judicial seizure order. The Trump administration previously sanctioned 6 vessels believed to be carrying oil from Venezuela.
The Trump administration is warning the Smithsonian Museum system that some of its funding may be withheld if it does not comply with records demands. Federal officials are asking for internal records and is setting a deadline for mid-January. The White House has previously pushed for a review of how the museum portrays America when talking about things like race. If the Smithsonian does not meet the deadline, funding could be delayed or withheld.
A bit of an intense weekend for people in San Francisco because of a massive power outage. Look at this. Around 130,000 customers lost power after a fire started at a substation. The fire department says power was ordered to be shut off so that firefighters could safely put out the fire there. As of 6 p.m. local time last night, around 15,000 customers were without power. The electric company says power is expected to be fully back on tonight.
WRAL's newest documentary, Coaching Carolina the Belichick Way, chronicled legendary coach Bill Belichick's first season in Chapel Hill. His first year brought headlines and attention, but fewer wins than expected. Now, with the hype and buzz having subsided at least a little bit, Belichick faces a critical offseason to turn the Tar Heels into winners. He needs to hire an offensive coordinator to help fix the broken offense, navigate the transfer portal with players coming and going, and develop a big recruiting class into immediate contributors. And hopefully, for UNC faithful, restore some of the excitement from before his initial season. You can read about the challenges ahead for Belichick and the Tar Heels at WRAL.com. Also, watch our incredible documentary online or on our YouTube page.
All right, swinging over to your weather forecast. It's what the coldest it's probably going to be this week because it's going to warm up. But
Definitely.
we can at least appreciate the prettiness that we can see over in Franklinton right now.
Definitely, yeah. I love how the lights keep strobing there along the building. It's just a great shot, and a lot of our downtown cameras that we have are showing off that holiday scene for you. Roxborough at 25. Rocky Mounts at 29, Garner 34, Holly Springs 33, Fayetteville and Cary down to freezing. Maybe doing a little bit of last-minute shopping today. We've got you covered. Temperatures midday will be in the mid-40s, maybe a little too cool for lunch outside. Temperatures in the low 50s heading into the afternoon, but plenty of sunshine to go around. Now, as we head toward Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, you've got this area of high pressure that's going to continue to build over the southern U.S., and beneath that air sinks, it gets warmer and it gets drier. You do have a cold front just to our north that might bring temperatures down by Friday, but we'll kind of put an asterisk next to that. One thing we feel good about is the warmth coming in Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Christmas Eve at 67 and Christmas Day at 69 degrees, both mornings starting out in the 40s. Our next best shot at really cooling down, well, that's going to come after the holiday weekend. I'm talking Sunday night into Monday. This is a cold front that's going to bring in a decent shot at some widespread rain Sunday night. Ahead of that, really any shot of showers is going to be tomorrow, and it's going to be pretty isolated in the morning, hence the 30% that you see there. Tomorrow morning will start out in the 30s, highs in the upper 50s. High temperatures Christmas Eve and Christmas Day in the mid to upper 60s. Now, a high of 69 degrees on Christmas Day, let's say we hit that on the nose, that would make it the 6th warmest Christmas on record. And we don't necessarily cool down a whole lot heading into the weekend. Got some highs in the low 70s Saturday and Sunday. Prior to that front that I just mentioned, that brings in some rain Sunday night. Guys?
All right, thanks for that, Chris.
Well, thrifting for Christmas. 5 on Your Side lists some different ways that last-minute shoppers can find gifts this week.
Plus, remembering the often forgotten, how Wake County is honoring the people who died while experiencing homelessness.
If you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tip to our news team.
We miss you and you will not be forgotten. That was the message at a memorial to honor the people who died in Wake County over the last year while homeless.
We may never meet again before you go.
Now, each of the chairs you see here carries the name of someone who died this year, 55 in total, including a chair for the people who could not be named. Organizers say this memorial not only calls attention to the people who died, but also to the people still living.
You know, stereotyping people or, you know, making certain assumptions about people really isn't fair because these are situations that all kinds of people from all walks of life get into, and there's no single face of homelessness.
We do not know everyone's story. During the ceremony last night, each of the names were read aloud, and this event is held each year to remember the people who might not have been remembered otherwise.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
The newest Avatar movie hits theaters, and big news about the next Avengers movie. This is like all for you, Chris.
Well, let's go ahead and talk well, at least half of it is. And what's trending?
A big opening weekend for the latest installment of the Avatar series. Avatar Fire and Ash earned a total of $345 million across the globe this weekend. It was the top movie of the weekend, but it turned in lower numbers than the previous movie on that opening weekend.
Look, James Cameron's still going to get his bag.
He knows what he's doing.
Avatar and Avatar, The Way of Water, both went on to earn $2 billion plus in box office sales.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That's a lot of money.
All right, so Chris Evans is returning to the MCU. The new trailer for Avengers Doomsday debuted in theaters this weekend ahead of the playing of the new Avatar movie. He'll be reprising his role as Steve Rogers for the first time since Avengers Endgame back in 2019. Robert Downey Jr. will be returning as Dr. Doom. The movie hits theaters on December 18th of next year.
And Chris Evans did appear in Deadpool and Wolverine as the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four last year. But that new trailer with Evans has not been released online, right?
Officially.
He's seen it. It's in theaters, so it's out there. You can probably find it somewhere.
You definitely can.
You definitely can. The New England Patriots keep their road-winning streak alive on Sunday Night Football. The team was in Baltimore last night to take on the Ravens. Former UNC quarterback Drake May threw for 380 yards and 2 touchdowns. That helped propel the Patriots to a 28-24 win. The victory secures New England a playoff spot. It's also good news for your Pittsburgh Steelers, Chris.
We were very happy with the end result yesterday, and Ravens down. That's always a good thing.
All right. Okay, and coming up for us, a shooting investigation. A mother tells WRAL her 13-year-old daughter was shot and killed days before Christmas. What we know from investigators as they try to figure out what happened.
We're also talking about holiday travel. Millions of people will be flying or driving this week. We'll tell you what you need to know before you head out for traveling.
And if you're staying at home for the holiday season, expect some warmth by Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We'll dive deeper into the details on that, how close we get to records, and give you an outlook for some holiday travel. All that coming your way in the next half-hour news.
And here are your winning lottery numbers. Good luck.